I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Global Book Network, we're sharing an unforgettable true story of courage and survival. The name of the book, Escaping: How I Broke Out of an Abusive Marriage, is written by a terrific author. Her name is Angela J. Mitchell. This gripping memoir follows Angela's journey from a religious upbringing and professional success to the dark reality of an abusive relationship and her brave path to freedom. Set in Atlanta, this book is both a sobering look at domestic abuse and a powerful message of healing, hope, and resilience. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on television today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Angela, thank you so much for joining me here today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
This is a powerful story, heartbreaking at times, of course, because nobody goes into a marriage expecting it to end in violence and abuse. How do you think you got to that place where abuse was part of your life?
Um, I probably because of the red flags, I would say that
Mm,
I missed. Um, some of the stuff that I saw, other people saw it as a red flag. I didn't see it as a red flag at that time. Because I can remember my girlfriend, she was telling me, she would tell me just by the phone call, getting so much phone call, back to back, she looked at that as a red flag, but I didn't see it at that time as a red flag. So I would say I missed a lot of the red flags.
A lot of it is promises that it'll never happen again. It's incremental. Little things happen that, and then bigger things happen, and then bigger things
Hmm.
happen. Did the abuse start before you were married or only after you were married?
It started after. Um,
Mm.
well, then again, some people would say it started before because, like I said, I was getting a lot of phone call, but I then look at it as abuse, some type of abuse. You know, I mistake it maybe for love or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Some people could look at it as controlling, another person could look at it as concerned, you know.
yeah,
So
that's
it's
how
like
I look
beauty,
at
it's
it.
in the eye of the beholder, but when it's coupled
Hmm.
with other things, that's when you realize you have a problem.
Yeah.
You had a pretty religious upbringing, and sometimes because of that religious upbringing, your views on commitment and marriage are very, very strong, and it makes you reluctant to leave, right?
Hmm. Exactly, yeah, because I was raised by my grandmother, so she had held like some high offices in the church. So she would teach me a lot of stuff about, I guess, about the Bible and spiritual stuff. And so I just come up in an environment with just, it wasn't no abuse. It wasn't no abuse. It wasn't no, I mean, no yelling and screaming. It wasn't no cursing and swearing. And it was none of that, with my grandmother. So it just was something just take me by surprise, really, because you did ask if the abuse started before I got married or after. I didn't see it until afterward, like 3 weeks after I got married. That's when I really saw the abuse and noticed, this is just not, this is not right. You know, I start seeing it 3 weeks after the marriage.
That started right away in your marriage. 3 weeks after getting married, 3 weeks after saying I do, 3 weeks
Mm-hmm.
after wedded bliss, you know, it started falling apart if he started getting abusive. Was it verbal abuse at first and then physical abuse or both?
It was verbal at first, lots of verbal abuse.
Mm.
Yeah, at first. And then after that is escalate into physical abuse. And yeah.
Yeah. How long did the abuse go on? And how did you find the courage to finally move on and get out?
Well, it went on for, I mean, until I got out of the marriage. That's why I had to leave. I had to get out of there because it was just escalating. The abuse was just getting worse and worse. I mean, and I didn't even see a need for abuse because I mean, it wasn't no argument. There was some time when it wasn't no argument, and things would just start up. I mean, um, the lamp being throwing the lamp and just throwing anything that he can find off the end table and the I see no reason. That's the thing. It would just start up for no reason.
Yeah. And
I mean,
breaking
it took me by
objects is
surprise.
basically saying that you're next. I mean, that's the thing about breaking things. He's showing his power, he's showing his dominance,
Hmm.
and that is typical of an abusive relationship. He breaks things. The untold message is you're next if you get out of line. And like you said, there doesn't even have to be a specific trigger. He could just be in a bad mood, I guess, right?
Exactly. That's how it was. Yeah. He can just be in a bad mood. And when you look, you would see the lamp. I mean, throwing the lamp, it would just anything that he can get his hand on, he would just start throwing it. And yeah, I mean, like I say, I wasn't raised up in that type of environment, and that really shook me, really. Yeah, and I know one day I would have to get out. If it had continued, I know I would have to leave that marriage.
It did continue, and you did have to leave the marriage.
I
Tell us
did.
what escaping was like for you. What was it like getting out of that marriage?
Um, I couldn't let him know that I was, getting out of the marriage because I know it would have been even worse if
Yeah.
I had told him. So what I do, I would just go on like a normal day. It can be like a day of cleaning the house on my day off. But as I'm cleaning the house on my day off, I would be packing stuff in, like a bag. I would stash the bag somewhere that I know he would not go in that area of the house. So that's why I had to do. I would just get all my things together, and I mean, not get all my things together, but just maybe the important stuff and just stash it somewhere because I know this not look like it's going no, going away. If anything is getting worse, I know I was have to, get out of there soon. And the thing about it, I was so ashamed to tell anybody about what was going on. Because my friend, that's one thing she would tell me. She said, Angela, that right there seeing like he's obsessive. And
Mm.
that's not normal in a relationship. And she did tell me, I should wait before I got married to him. She said, you should wait a little longer to get to know him more. But then again, I didn't, and that made me ashamed to tell anybody what was going on. I didn't tell nobody what was going on. I just kept it to myself and just try to endure it. And yeah, I just didn't want to feel like my marriage was a failure.
Well, the failure of your marriage is not a failure of you.
Hmm.
And you certainly have no reason to be shameful because somebody turned out to be somebody you thought they were and they're not. You know what I mean? There's somebody,
Hmm.
it's somebody different than the one you married. You didn't think he was going to be like this. And
Exactly.
otherwise, you never would have gotten married in a million years. If any of us
Yeah.
saw what would happen once you got married, once you're in a bad marriage, you'd be like, ah, I'm nowhere near that, you know?
Yeah, I would have got far away from that if I had see that before I got married.
Yeah.
But I mean, and he used to treat me real good before, because we dated 6 months before I got married. We dated 6 months, and he would come over to my job and he would bring me lunch and he would bring me gifts and stuff on the job. I mean, you just didn't see that in him at all.
Right.
But he was
Right.
abusive. That's the thing. You didn't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
yeah.
advice would you give to somebody else who's in your situation now? Either about to get married and the person's abusive or in some kind of relationship and the person is showing the same kind of traits that your husband did.
Mm. I would tell them try to um, get out of it. I did talk to my husband, my ex-husband about it, and I let him know, that I was not going to continue in the marriage because um, he was being abusive. He didn't see it as being abusive. I just didn't know how he didn't see that as being abusive. But I would talk to him and I did tell him, I said, if this keep going on, I'm gonna leave the marriage.
Mm,
And I don't know whether he thought, I guess he know how I have felt about being married.
right.
And I didn't want to feel like the marriage was a failure and things like that. But I would talk to him and tell him, and he always would say, "Well, he's going to change, and that is not going to happen again." And
Yeah.
and sometime before the end of the day, he was back to the same person. I mean, the same violent and abusive and verbally. I mean, he was back to the same person sometime before the end of the day. He was the same. So yeah, it was something like he couldn't control or something.
It also could have been how he was raised. Maybe he was raised in a family that was fighting or arguing or violent with each other, and that was his norm.
Could have
That's the
been.
thing. You grew up in a religious, peaceful background. So fighting and people breaking things and screaming and insulting or possibly hitting wasn't part of your life. For him, it might have been. And that's
True.
what he learned. That's what he knows. And some people, after they're confronted with abuse, become victims. Other people become abusers themselves. So
Hmm.
it's a tough situation for sure. Once you left him, did
Hmm.
he try to retaliate? Did he try to come after you or anything?
Yeah, many times he tried to come after me. He retaliate. Um, he would go on my job. He would come on my job. I used to work 3 to 11 shift. I used to pick up other shift also, but I can remember getting off at night and he would be out there 11 o'clock at night when I get out. So yeah, he would come after me. And one particular night he came and he put sugar inside my gas tank. He sliced my car tires. I know it was him. And it was a lot that he did. I mean, he cut up all my clothes in the closet. He cut up everything belongs to me. I mean, when I said cut up all the clothes, I mean the shoes, the sneakers, the handbags, the purses, everything. He bleached it up and he cut it up. And even the mattress on the bed. I mean, brand new mattress and stuff. He just bleached it up and just slice it. Because at that time, I had just bought a whole bedroom set.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I mean, the mattress still had like the plastic on it and everything. He just he cut up everything, just bleach up everything. I mean, cut had just bought like a washer and dryer set. I mean, he cut all the cords of the washer and dryer and I mean, he destroyed everything that was mine. He made sure. And he would always tell me, you gonna start over. He
Mm.
always would tell me that, threaten me that I was gonna start over, but I never know what he was talking about. But I guess that was part of part of his plan of starting over by destroying everything belongs to me. So,
Crazy. Well, thank God you're out of it. Are you in a safe place now? Do you feel better with your life? Do you feel like you've moved on?
oh, I feel like I moved on, but when it comes to the job, I can remember my employer telling me, Angela, we love it having you here. But we just don't want because they know what was going on about the abuse at home and stuff. I had already told my employer about it because he would come on the job and they had already stopped him, but still at night he still would come, on the job anywhere. So they said, well, Angela, you're gonna have to find, another job or something that he don't know about. They said they were hit for me to leave, but then again, it was better for me to leave. I would have my life because they was, in fear for me at night. So what I did, I got into traveling, doing travel and nursing, and
Mm.
I would travel out of state. And that's how I got away from him, from coming on my job and following me and different things like that.
Well,
And
that
I
was
did that
smart.
for many years.
Yeah, that was smart. I'm sorry you had terrible ordeal. Thankful that you're sharing your story that'll shed light and give hope to others who are in similar abusive relationships. The name of the
Mhm.
book is Escaping How I Broke Out of an Abusive Marriage. It is a raw, powerful memoir of survival, strength, and starting over. Angela, thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your honesty, your candor, and your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.